The courthouse steps are slippery, not from rain, though God knows Seattle gives you plenty of that, but from 10 years of waiting, 10 years of building, 10 years of remembering the exact texture of my father's voice when he looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're no daughter of mine." I was 17, I'm 27 now, and I'm about to walk into that marble lobby, ride the elevator to the 9th floor, and sit across from the people who once called me family. The people who believed a lie so easily, they didn't even bother asking for my side. My lawyer, Diana, touches my elbow. "You ready?" I smooth down the front of my charcoal Tom Ford suit, the one that cost more than my childhood home's monthly mortgage, and I smile. Not the nervous, people-pleasing smile I used to wear like armor. This one's different, sharp, expensive, earned. I've been ready for a decade, because here's the thing about being erased from your own story. Eventually, you stop trying to rewrite the chapter they tore out. Instead, you author an entirely new book, one they'll be forced to read, one they'll wish they'd never opened. My name is Cassandra Wells, and this is the story of how my older brother framed me for theft, my parents threw me out like garbage, and I spent the next 10 years turning their worst insult, "You'll never amount to anything," into a $10 million software empire, just so I could come back and watch them beg, stick around. Because what happened in that conference room, it was legendary. But before we get into it, if you've ever fantasized about proving wrong everyone who underestimated you, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you want more stories about people who turned pain into power, and buckle up. Because this one hits different. Let me take you back, 1997. I'm 7 years old, sitting cross-legged on the living room carpet of our cramped 2-bedroom rental in Tacoma. My older brother Jordan is 12, 5 years older, 5 inches taller, 5 times more charming. Mum's making meatloaf. Dad's on the couch with a beer, flipping between Jeopardy and the Mariners game. Jordan's showing me his new Game Boy, the transparent purple one, and he's letting me play Pokemon Red, even though he never lets anyone touch his stuff. "You're my favourite, Cass," he says, ruffling my hair. "Don't tell Mum." I grin so hard my cheeks hurt. That's the memory I clung to for years, that moment, that version of him. Because by the time I turned 17, the brother who let me borrow his Game Boy had become the man who stole my entire future, and made everyone believe it was my fault. Fast forward, March 2005. I'm a senior at Lincoln High, straight A student, captain of the debate team, already accepted into University of Washington on a partial scholarship. I'm not popular, God no, but I'm driven. I have this fire in me, this belief that if I just work hard enough, I can lift my family out of the cycle we've been stuck in for generations. Dad's a mechanic. Good man, tired man. Mum works part-time at a grocery store, her back always aching, her smile always just a little too tight. And Jordan's 22, dropped out of community college after 1 semester, still living at home, works part-time at a local electronics shop, but mostly he's drifting, partying, sleeping till noon. I love him, but I also pity him. And maybe, just maybe, that pity was the first crack in the foundation. The incident. April 14th, 2005. It's a Thursday. I come home from school around 3:30 p.m, dump my backpack on the kitchen table, and notice something's off. The house is too quiet. Mum's car is gone. She's working late. Dad's still at the shop. But Jordan's bedroom door is cracked open, and I hear rustling. "Jordan!" No answer. I push the door wider. He's standing by his closet, shoving something into a duffel bag, something that glints under the overhead light. "What are you doing?" He jumps, spins around. His face, God, I'll never forget his face. It's pale, slick with sweat, pupils blown wide. "Nothing, get out." But I've already seen it. Jewelry, not his, not ours. Mum's jewelry box sits open on his bed, the little wooden one with the inlaid roses that belonged to Grandma. Inside, empty slots where her wedding ring used to sit, where the pearl earrings Dad gave her on their anniversary used to sit. "Jordan, what the hell?" I said, "Get out, Cass." His voice is raw, desperate, and that's when I see the second duffel bag, the one already zipped, the one that looks heavy. Are you stealing from Mum? He lunges forward, grabs my wrist, not hard enough to hurt, but hard enough to scare me. Listen to me, I owe some people money, bad people. I just need to pawn a few things, get them off my back, and I'll buy everything back, I swear. You can't, I don't have a choice. His eyes are wild. I yank my wrist free. I'm telling Dad, "Cass, please." But I'm already walking away, heart hammering, phone in hand. I don't even make it to the living room before I hear the front door slam. By the time Dad gets home 2 hours later, Jordan's gone. The jewellery's gone. And sitting on the kitchen counter, carefully placed, almost staged, is Mum's empty jewellery box. Right next to my backpack. Mum comes home at 7 p.m. She sees the empty box. She screams. Dad's face goes white, then red, then something worse, stone. "Where's Jordan?" Mum's voice cracks. "I don't know," I say. "He was here when I got home. He had the jewellery. He said he owed people money." "Bullshit." Dad's voice cuts through the kitchen like a blade. I freeze. "Dad, I swear..." "Jordan called me an hour ago," he says slowly. "He told me you've been acting strange, that you've been asking about Mum's jewellery, that he caught you going through it last week." My stomach drops. "That's not... He said you've been talking about needing money for college, that the scholarship isn't enough. Dad, that's insane. I would never..." "Then why?" Mum whispers, tears streaming. "Why is your backpack right next to my jewellery box?" I look, and I see it. The staging, the setup, the perfect little crime scene designed to point every finger at me. "He's lying." Dad shakes his head. "Jordan wouldn't do this." "Yes, he would. Dad, he was high. I saw him..." "Enough!" The word echoes. Dad steps closer. I've never seen him look at me like this, like I'm a stranger, like I'm dangerous. "You're jealous," he says quietly. "You've always been jealous of your brother." "What? You think you're so much better than him because you get good grades, because you're going to college. You've looked down on him for years. That's not true. And now you steal from your own mother and try to blame him." "I didn't..." "Get out." The room goes silent. Mum's sobbing into her hands. Dad's chest is heaving. And I'm 17 years old. I'm a child. And my father just told me to leave. "Dad, I said get out." I don't remember packing. I don't remember crying. I remember my hands shaking so hard I couldn't zip my suitcase. I remember Mum standing in the doorway, arms crossed, saying nothing. I remember texting Jordan, "How could you do this to me?" and getting back a single message. "Sorry, Cass, it was you or me." I stayed with my debate coach, Mrs. Hendricks, for 3 weeks. Then I moved in with my best friend, Alicia, and her family. I finished high school. I graduated. Valedictorian, actually. My parents didn't come. Jordan didn't come. I walked across that stage alone, shook hands with the principal, and smiled for a photo nobody would ever frame. And when I got back to Alicia's house, I locked myself in the bathroom. I went to UW, worked 3 jobs, campus library, weekend barista, and nighttime data entry. Slept 4 hours a night, majored in computer science, minored in business. And I was angry. God, I was so angry. But anger, I learned, is rocket fuel if you point it in the right direction. In my sophomore year, I took an elective called Entrepreneurial Problem Solving. The professor, Dr. Mira Okonkwo, was this brilliant Nigerian woman who'd sold 2 startups before she turned 35. She gave us an assignment: identify an inefficiency in your own life, then build a digital solution. I thought about my 3 jobs, about scheduling shifts, tracking hours, organizing pay stubs across different platforms. It was a mess. So I built an app, nothing fancy, just a rough prototype, that consolidated work schedules, payments, and tax info in one place. I called it Shift Sync. Dr. Okonkwo loved it. She introduced me to a venture capitalist friend. That VC gave me $50,000 in seed funding. I was 19 years old and I was terrified. But I took the money. I dropped to part-time classes. I hired 2 freelance developers from Upwork. And 12 months later, ShiftSync had 10,000 active users. I'm not going to sugarcoat this part. Building a startup is brutal. I lived on ramen, cold pizza, and spite. I slept on a futon in a studio apartment in Capitol Hill that smelled like mildew. I pitched to investors who called me adorable and ambitious for a girl. I got rejected 47 times. 47. But on pitch number 48, I walked into a conference room in San Francisco and I met a woman named Elena Vasquez, founding partner at Crest Ventures. I didn't cry, I didn't beg. I showed her our user growth. I showed her our retention metrics. I showed her projections that made her lean forward. And then I said, I was kicked out of my home at 17 because my family chose a liar over me. I built this company to prove I'm not who they said I was. But more than that, I built it because gig workers deserve better tools, and I'm the one who's going to give it to them. Eleanor stared at me for 10 long seconds. Then she smiled. How much do you need? We closed a $2 million Series A 3 weeks later. By 2013, ShiftSync had 500,000 users. By 2014, we hit 2 million. By 2015, we were acquired by a major payroll processing company for $10.3 million. I was 25 years old, and I had just become a multi-millionaire. The acquisition closed in August. I was sitting in my new downtown Seattle apartment, floor-to-ceiling windows, Elliott Bay view, the kind of place I used to clean as a work-study student, when my phone buzzed. An email from Jordan. Subject line: I'm sorry. I stared at it for 5 full minutes before I opened it. The message was long, rambling. He'd gotten sober 2 years ago. He was in therapy. He'd told Mom and Dad the truth, that he'd framed me, that he'd stolen the jewelry, that he'd been too afraid and too high to do the right thing. He said they didn't believe him at first, that it took months of conversations, of evidence, of him finally showing them pawn shop receipts with his name on them. And now they wanted to reach out, to reconcile. The email ended with, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but they're your parents, Cass. They miss you. I read it twice. Then I closed my laptop. And I laughed. Not a happy laugh. A hollow, disbelieving, bitter laugh. Because here's what Jordan didn't say. He didn't apologize for 10 years. He didn't apologize until after my acquisition made headlines in the Seattle Times. He didn't apologize until I became someone worth apologizing to. I didn't respond. Not to Jordan, not to the follow-up emails from Mum, not to the voicemail from Dad that started with, Sweetheart, we need to talk. I deleted every message, I blocked their numbers, and I moved on, or at least I tried to. In February, I got a certified letter from a law firm in Tacoma. My parents were suing me, not for money, for emotional damages stemming from estrangement and parental alienation. I'm not kidding. They claimed that by refusing contact, I was causing them severe psychological distress. They wanted $150,000 and a formal apology. I sat in my lawyer Diana's office, staring at the paperwork, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not sadness, not fear, clarity. They don't want reconciliation, I said. Diana nodded. They want money. Then let's give them something better. What? I smiled. A counteroffer, which brings us back to where we started. The courthouse steps, the elevator, the 9th floor. Diana and I walk into the conference room, and there they are, Mom, Dad, Jordan. And their lawyer, some overpriced guy in a suit that doesn't fit right. Mum's aged, deep lines around her mouth, grey streaking her hair. Dad's thinner, greyer. Jordan won't meet my eyes. I sit down. I don't smile. I don't cry. I fold my hands on the table and I say, let's talk. their lawyer starts. Miss Wells, my clients are prepared to drop the lawsuit if you're willing to... No, he blinks. I'm sorry. I'm not here to settle your lawsuit, I say evenly. I'm here to make you an offer. Mum leans forward. Cassie, please, we just want... I'll pay you $200,000, I say. Silence. Dad's eyes go wide. $200,000, right now, cashier's check, tax-free gift. Cassie, under 3 conditions. I slide a document across the table. 1. You drop the lawsuit and sign a statement admitting Jordan framed me and that you wrongfully expelled me from the family. Mum's face crumples. 2. That statement gets published as a full-page ad in the Seattle Times and the Tacoma News Tribune. You can't, Dad starts. 3, I continue, voice ice cold. You sign away any future claim to contact, inheritance, or relationship with me, legally, permanently. Jordan finally speaks. Cass, you don't mean this. I look at him, really look at him, and I see the brother who ruffled my hair, the one who let me play Pokemon, the one I loved, and I see the coward who chose himself. You took 10 years from me, I say quietly. You took my family, my home, my childhood, and the only reason you're sorry is because I succeeded without you. That's not... So here's the deal. Take the money, clear your conscience, and never contact me again. Mum's crying now. Dad's shaking his head. We're your parents, he says hoarsely. No, I reply. You were my parents, until you chose to believe I was a thief instead of asking me the truth, until you threw me away like I was nothing. I stand. You have 72 hours to decide. After that, the offer disappears, and I'll see you in court, where I will win, and it will cost you everything. Diana and I walk out. Behind me, I hear Mom sobbing. I don't look back. They signed, all 3 of them. 48 hours later, Diana called me. It's done. The ad ran the following Sunday. Full page, black and white. A formal statement from Robert and Linda Wells admitting wrongful accusation, expressing regret, and acknowledging the truth. I didn't read it. I didn't need to. I just needed to know it existed, that somewhere, in print, the record was corrected. It's 2016. I'm 27 years old. I live in a penthouse in Seattle. I'm building my second company, an AI-driven freelancer platform. I have friends, a therapist, a life I built with my own 2 hands. And sometimes, I think about that little girl sitting on the carpet, playing Pokemon, believing family was forever. I don't hate her. I pity her. Because she didn't know yet that some people will choose comfort over truth, that some love is conditional, and that the only person you can really count on is yourself. But here's the thing. I didn't just survive. I won. Not because I got revenge, but because I became someone they could never diminish again. And that is the best payback of all. So here's what I learned. The people who underestimate you aren't villains in some movie. They're just human, flawed, scared, selfish. And sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying them. It's building a life so full, so complete, that their absence becomes irrelevant. They wanted me to disappear. I became unforgettable. If this story hit you right in the chest, and I'm betting it did, go ahead and obliterate that like button. Drop a comment telling me, have you ever been underestimated? How did you prove them wrong? And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because I've got more stories like this. Real people, real revenge, real justice. Thanks for listening. I'm Cassandra Wells. And remember, they can kick you out, but they can't stop you from coming back stronger. See you in the next one.